Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. I have the softest touch. Yes. So, this is the second video to the full video that I made dealing with the COVID pandemic. It's in 4 parts because for some reason I'm still trying to get it uploaded as one. But nonetheless, this is one of the topics that was covered in that video, but in a more in-depth way. So, let's go with this. Now, what we're going to talk about right now is God's warning. I hear a lot of people say, well, if God is real, why did he let this happen? Why is he not stopping it? And things of that nature. So I'm going to give a little brief synopsis of what I explained in the other video, but also get a little bit more in depth and show you where you can go in the Bible to kind of understand. It's a lot of places in the Bible, but one in particular that I found really interesting that really shows that nothing comes without warning. Whether it's good, bad, or indifference, nothing comes without warning. We either going to know within ourselves spiritually from discernment. We're going to know from whether it's visions or dreams, whether somebody else had them and passed the information along. But somewhere along the line, there is always, and I can guarantee you, always warning. So, let's start with this. Now, first of all, and I'm kind of reading from this because I want to kind of keep myself on track a little bit because I'm trying to keep these things small, as far as the time frame. Okay. Now, the first thing is there are 54 verses throughout the Bible that talks about warning, and 7 cautionary warnings that refer to things that's going on now. So you can actually Google it. You can put it in like does God give warnings or warnings God gave? And what it mostly is going to show up is different examples in the Bible that where God warned people. That was always constant warning before something happened. So I want to encourage you all to check that. Now, and I found myself for Matthew 24, that whole book, not just pieces, because I also learned that when you take just certain scriptures and just set them out there, a lot of times, people it can either give the information that you want, or it can be taken out of context. So a lot of times with certain things, I won't just give the scripture. Now, certain things in Proverbs, I will, because it's that very direct language at the top part of Proverbs. The latter part is not. So again, we need to be careful about that. But Matthew 24 is what I found to be more of a very good understanding of the warning of God. Now, also dealing with this covert, excuse me, I'm getting a little tongue tied. Excuse me. Water's always good. Dealing with this COVID-19, this coronavirus that's going on, this pandemic, there was a lot of warnings, as I mentioned in another video. From 2014, you had Obama gave warning how we need to start protecting ourselves because the chance of a global pandemic, if you will, is likely to happen because of the way the world was going. And so some things was already in place. He put more things in place in order to give us that upper hand. So if something happens, we're ready. Like we're just plain old ready to go. And so in 2015, Bill Gates, even though he had an underlying reasoning than what Obama had it for, of letting us know, he also mentioned about there's going to be a virus. I found it interesting, though, that his was more, well, Obama was like, the way this world going and the fighting between the countries, something may give, let's just be ready. Where Bill Gates was, it's coming, it's going to happen, we're not going to stop it, so we need to come up with some measures. And one of the measures that he was more so interested in, that I found he was more interested in, was the vaccine of a virus. I thought it was interesting that you're trying to create a vaccine before a virus hits. So what are you creating it for? So nonetheless, another video, I'm going to be discussing that in depth. So nonetheless, that happened. And then you had from, let me see, what was this? Then you had from 2017 to 2017. Yeah, there were only 3 out of 100 public health labs that have been able to test for coronavirus, as the Health and Human Services was out of money. Man, this was in 2017, so we already starting to know that, okay, we're starting to have some weakness in our defense of trying to ward off, stop, and even deal with anything that may come. In 2017 to 2018, you had a lot of philanthropists and activists trying to stop the 5G from being allowed to be able to manifest. They wasn't successful in stopping it. However, they were successful in making sure that people were aware, that the 5G is dangerous, because, as we know, the CDC, the Center for Disease and Prevention, they was never able to say that the 3G or 4G was safe, and the 5G working at 5 times greater and more powerful than the 4G, but slated to work 10 times as powerful as the 4G. CDC can't say any of it is safe. They can't say it, and they haven't said it. So that was an issue in itself. So they weren't able to do that, but they were successful into getting the information out to us that, hey, something's going down and it's not going to be good. So this is what that is. So now when you got 2018, and this is the interesting part, because in 2018, Trump and his organization, but Trump and his government, all of the agencies, the CDC, the NSC, the HDS, the HHS, was either inoperable or dismantled by Trump. Either the money was gone or he totally dismantled it and took it away. So, so again, we're going back to 2014, warning, 2015, warning, 2017 through 2018, warnings. Then 2019 in September, October, God showed me something which I announced to my church, Facebook. I think it was on Twitter. I don't think I did it on Instagram. I don't think it was on Instagram at the time, or I didn't think of putting it on there at the time. And just people in general, I would let know that something is great hit us, and it's not going to be good. And we need to start getting our prayer life and relationship with God closer together, because some things are going to happen. The interesting part is in November, actually October, November, 2 members of the church, after I mentioned it again, stood up and said that, hey, yes, God told me that we need to let everybody know that we need to get things in order, as far as putting water aside, bottles of water, canned goods, and necessities, because something going to happen. Is going to be a lack, and it's going to be hard to obtain these things. So we need to start getting things in order. So what I saw has not happened yet, but what they saw is where we are now. So again, before this hit, this thing hit in November, but didn't hit worldwide, I think, to January, February. But they didn't consider the pandemic to February. So again, warning after warning after warning. And the fact of the matter is, we are not heeding the warnings like we should. There are way more people than myself and my 2 church members who knew in their spirit. Might not have understood it fully, but they knew in their spirit. They kept feeling like, I need to get more water. I need to stock up. I need to start saving my money. Some kind of way, we all knew something, but we did not heed to it. So again, it just shows how, God gave warning. And the thing that interests me was the cutting that Trump did. He was so obsessed with dismantling everything and getting rid of everything that Obama has done that it's causing this death. It's causing death across this whole country because he didn't put the stuff that was in place to deal with this. He took away from it. So when you look at like the global health security team was disbanded after the leader, the guy Timothy was a Ziemen, who led the agency abruptly left. Then Trump just disbanded the whole thing. Now, why would you do that? You could just put somebody else in charge. You can just find somebody else who's capable. Well, I don't know if he could, but he could find somebody capable. But somebody could have found somebody capable in order to running that. But they disbanded it. The CDC was forced to slash its efforts to prevent a global disease by 80%, even as it was about to run out of funds, therefore causing the CDC to opt its focus on priority countries and scale back on other countries, including China. So they had an organization there that if this pandemic would have broke out, they could have been on it. They could have just moved with it. So we could have either prevented it from getting here or we could have minimized the effect of it once it got here. But again, Trump dismantled these organizations to keep us safe. Then you look at the complex complex crisis fund, who funds were created by the Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, to deploy disease experts and others in the event of crisis. That was also cut. So that's something that she had put in place when she was the Secretary of State, and again, that was cut. So the end result is Trump called for $15 billion, $15 billion in reduced health and health spending that would have previously been approved. See, it was this money, $15 billion was already approved for this area, but he cut it. He reduced it. He reduced it dramatically, saying so because of the deficit. Right? He did it because of the deficit, which I thought was really interesting because you cut these agencies that can keep us safe from harm of this kind of pandemic, viruses and things of that nature. But what you don't do, or what you did in opposite of that, because you said you did it because of the deficit is so high, but then you turn around and pass a tax law that benefit billionaires, millionaires, where they get refunds and don't have to pay a dime into the system. They don't have to pay a dime. But they get millions and millions of dollars in refunds. So that didn't even make any sense. It goes to show that he is strictly self-serving, which another video I'm going in depth about him with these behaviors and how to test this and some other things that y'all might not have noticed about him, and how it's easily proven that he is either a full-front demon or demonically possessed. And I will be doing a video to literally prove it, where you can go back and look and see what I'm talking about. So we're going to do that other video. So again, he slashed all of these different organizations. And let me remind you, because I know I gave out a lot of letters of these organizations, so for y'all can know what they are. Like I said, the CDC is the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Then you had the National Security Council, which was the NSC. Then the HHS was the Health and Human Services, and the DHS is the Department of Homeland Security. So y'all can look those things up. But again, always know, and if you look at your own life, there's times where you're walking and you might hear somebody call your name, you look around, there's nobody there, and you stop for a minute. And then all of a sudden, that delay might have caused caused you not to get hit by a car, or you got where you was going just a tad bit late and you found out something happened and it just missed you. Little things like that, again, are warnings. You might have, like, for instance, I've started noticing that even though I'm not speeding, but I know that if I'm driving a certain speed, even if it's within the limits, birds will fly and dip in front of me. And I learned that was God telling me, hold up, slow down, something's up. And I knew that because when it first had happened, and I slowed down, like, woo, because I'm about to hit these birds. I'm like, what the world? All of a sudden, I slowed down, this car spun around me to get in front of me. And as soon as he went up, maybe not even 10, 15 seconds, bam, this car come flying through a side street, hit him, and yeah, so it was bad. So again, there's always warning to everything. So we just have to have our discernment up. We just have to have our spiritual eyes as well as our ears open. And even the flesh itself, as corrupt as it is, it knows stuff too. So again, I just wanted to explain that and tell y'all to keep being mindful, because the enemy is out here for real doing some stuff, mainly during this pandemic. So I'm going to post another video that's speaking of, it's talking more of the devil's motives and intentions. And I'm going to show you what they are and show you how to relate to Revelations. Not how to relate to Revelation, but actually give you the scripture so you can go and look in it to see the comparison of what I'm saying to be truthful. All right? So, and accurate. That's the main thing. But truthful is the main thing, but accurate. So, okay. But thank you again for coming, and I hope this helped you in some sort of way and allowed you to be able to start being aware of these warnings and taking heed, so we don't have to struggle and stress to that degree of where we come out of character and things of that nature, because there's a lot going on right now. But we can still find peace, joy, happiness, and comfort within it. All right? That silver lining is always there. All right, you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.